At Legal and General, in case we should ever forget that our business is to provide people with financial cover, we like to remind ourselves from time to time why the umbrella is our symbol.
Amiable, capable, Legal and General. Ask your financial advisor or broker.
Everyone's making tracks for the new and used car sale with over 2,500 sensational savings. And of course, it's at Arnold Clark.
Imperial leather. Luxury you can afford every day.
I'm just an old-fashioned girl with an old-fashioned mind. Not sophisticated, just a sweet and simple kind. I want an old-fashioned house with an old-fashioned fence and an old-fashioned millionaire. I live in luxury there with an old rocking chair and my old-fashioned millionaire.
Greetings, I am Carnival, new from Soda Stream. Look, I won a liter bottle. Press my button and I will give you much more face. Buy me now for Christmas, and that face will be with you always. Carnival from Soda Stream.
There's another sight for admiring that makes the spirit fly. Just lift your finger, say the word, and raise the elbow high. Oh, I'm a scholar, he's a scholar, we're scholar through and through. When you know your drink, you know your brew. You can be a scholar too, a scholar through and through.
Congested sinuses can be painful. Pain around the eyes, catarrh. It's about as easy to breathe through a blocked-up nose as being underwater. Mucron reaches the congested nasal passages and sinuses fast, clearing catarrh and lifting the pressure that caused the pain in the first place. Soon you'll be breathing through your nose freely again. Mucron relieves painful sinuses and catarrh, so you can come up for air.
Martini Extra Dry. Once discovered, never lost. Have it with or without. With friends, with pleasure. Martini Extra Dry. It's there to be discovered.
Aim for the facts. All margarines are high in fat. Margarines high in polyunsaturates, 80% fat. Even margarines low in cholesterol, 80% fat. St. Ivel Gold is a low-fat spread with only half the fat of any margarine. Gold from St. Ivel. Aim low.
I'm here in the centre of town at Mitchell's Self-Drive. When your car's off the road, this is where you come for immediate replacement. And at Mitchell's, you can pay later when your car's off the road.
See you in about 10 minutes then, Mr. Evans.
And Mitchell's have a big choice of cars, from Fiestas to Mercedes like these. They're efficient and friendly, and when your car's off the road, you just phone, walk in, sign, and drive out without paying out. They're here on the back of yellow pages. And come back again.
Hello and a very good evening to you. We have our usual double ration of football action in tomorrow afternoon's Scott Sport, which comes to you this week at the earlier time of 1:20. Well, the Scottish match that we feature is the Premier League game at Pittodrie this afternoon between Aberdeen and Dundee United. Here's a look at some of the first half action with commentary from Jock Brown.
BD again. Great effort from BD. And Leighton didn't have his worries to seek on that occasion. Well, BD picked up that ball, loose ball coming from Neil Simpson, lined up the shot and hit it with lots of power, just about a foot too high. Bannon's header. Here's Bannon again, crossing his man, leaving Stark behind. There's Boris Malpass. And once again, Leighton very happy to see the ball go over.
Well, in addition to that very, very good game at Pittodrie between Aberdeen and Dundee United, we go to the English First Division for a match to the race from the south, the high-scoring game between West Ham and Southampton. Here's Brian Moore doing a little commentary on the second half.
Swindlehurst. Gale again. Now it's with Allen. That's a lovely little bit of play by him. And Cotty turning it back and over the top after Armstrong's header had fallen for him.
So our football action, just to remind you, Aberdeen against Dundee United from Scotland and West Ham against Southampton from England. Ian Archer goes skiing, that's his subject tomorrow, and Sally McNair's been out with her camera's subject, trampolining. That's all tomorrow. Don't forget 1:20. Right now, though, it's 3-2-1.
And one last look at the time here on Scottish television as it approaches 8 minutes past midnight. And that brings us to the end of tonight's programmes. I hope you've enjoyed being with us and you'll join us again sometime tomorrow. Programmes should run as billed, more or less as billed in TV times, with a couple of small changes tomorrow morning. Then looking ahead to tomorrow night, watch out for a brand new series of Name That Tune at 7:30. After that at 8 there's a real adventure, not to mention a touch of foolhardiness in the Stunt Challenge of 1985. And 9 o'clock sees the return of The Travelling Man. Those are just a few of your programmes. We'll be back with you in the morning at 9:25 with Sesame Street. So until then, we leave you with a rundown of your Tuesday programmes and wish you a very good night.
Strongbow. Nothing else quite hits the mark.
The Christmas double issue of TV Times has 16 days of holiday entertainment on ITV and Channel 4. All the big Christmas and New Year specials, the films, the plays, the comedy shows, and it offers 2 Christmas gifts and New Year prizes. Don't miss the most entertaining guide to your Christmas and New Year entertainment. TV Times.
Excuse me, sir, if I inquire, but isn't that your house on fire? Well, maybe not. But if it were, I mean, suppose fire did occur, and say it caught you unawares at night. If you're cut off upstairs, what would you do? How would you act to keep your family intact? First thing is, make sure everyone who's still upstairs is in one room. Close doors and block up all the cracks to keep out deadly smoke attacks. Go to the window, shout, and try to make sure that someone nearby has gone to call the fire brigade, for they'll speed quickly to your aid. If, while you wait, you start to choke, lie on the floor where there's less smoke, or lean out of the window where there's likely to be cleaner air. But should things get too bad to stay, your last resort's a getaway. Do all you can to break your fall with cushions, mattresses and all. Then lower yourselves towards the ground. For choice where soft earth may be found. These rules may save your lives, so heed them, although we hope you'll never need them.
Christmas on Scottish brings you the best in entertainment. A new Ruth Rendell crime mystery, No Crying He Makes. Clive James in a different guise. He learns to drive, then he becomes a racing driver. And the children's favourite Motormouth pops up on Christmas Eve, and on Christmas morning it comes from Disney World. Ted Rogers heads up an all-star cast for a piece of pantomania in a 3-2-1 Christmas special. Stanley Baxter as Mr. Majika copes with a Christmas crisis when a troubled Santa drops in unexpectedly, suffering from vertigo. Cilla Black's back on Christmas afternoon, promising a lot of fun with a festive edition of the popular dating game Blind Date. And more of those embarrassing moments when everything goes wrong at once in 10 years of It'll Be All Right on the Night. The Antipodean megastar and housewife, champion of the gladioli, Dame Edna Everage, gives another audience with Dame Edna on Christmas night. And on Boxing Day, your old pals Arthur and Tal are up to more dreaming and scheming in a 90-minute minder entitled An Officer and a Car Salesman.
Stay tuned to Through the Night on Scottish for the news from ITN.
The list of people aboard the Pan Am jet has just been released, showing that at least 28 of the passengers who died lived in Britain. Among them were Claire Bakayoko and her fiancé Clayton Flick from Coventry. They were on a shopping trip to New York. One American who died was Melina Hudson. She was on her way home after a study visit to Exeter. 80 bodies have now been taken to the temporary mortuary in Lockerbie. Intelligence experts now believe sabotage was the most likely cause of the Pan Am crash, in which at least 275 people died. It's emerged that American diplomats were warned of a possible bomb attack after a caller to the American embassy in Finland said there'd be an attack on a Pan Am flight from Frankfurt. Crash investigators are now examining the so-called black boxes recovered from the aircraft.
A housing estate alongside the busy A74 took the full force of an impact that blasted a crater 30 feet deep where houses once stood. 14 adults and 3 children were killed. Other debris smashed homes into piles of rubble. Nothing could be salvaged. The flight deck, however, landed in a field 3 miles away, crushed and spilling the contents of the cockpit. Dozens of volunteers helped with urgent repairs, but many families will need both material help and emotional support. A team of 600 have spent the day searching for bodies. Because victims were scattered over such a wide area, police appealed to farmers to search their own fields and woods. Amid the litter of the aircraft's cabin, dollar bills line the mud. In the end, personal belongings may be the only way to identify some of the dead.
The American president-elect, Mr. George Bush, told reporters that the public would have been warned of a possible terrorist attack if intelligence agencies had received sufficient evidence that the threat was real.
But if you had hard evidence that a specific flight was going to be threatened or that the threat could not be contained, clearly you would want to serve the public good by notifying people.
And that's it. There'll be more news later.
You're watching Through the Night on Scottish.
This Christmas, there's drama. Wally's lost his memory.
Where did we go last night, you and me? A big hall. Hundreds of people, all watching.
Aladdin!
What?
We took the kids to the palace to see Aladdin.
That was 3 years ago!
Back to the turn of the century and an unforgettable 9-year-old's view of a rather genteel grown-up world.
Do you live in London? No, I don't. My home is really in Northumberland, but I'm at present stopping with Mr. Clark at the Getty Hotel.
I see.
And how one is seen is all important to Miss Fairfax.
What wonderful eyes you have, Ernest. I hope you will always look at me just like that, especially when there are other people present.
Mr. Whoa!
Wendy Hiller stars in Oscar Wilde's classic comedy, For Christmas, on 4.
The drama comes from Brookside after the break, with the Corkills up to their ears in debt and Heather increasingly worried about Nick.
He isn't like any man I've ever known. Pierre Cardin is his choice. But if you know a man like him...
For a strong pils with a smooth taste, seek out the Lager of Lamont.
Benylin, the leading cough medicine for many years, proved really effective and available without prescription. Benylin, the #1 name for coughs.
Look for the signature, Fionda La Modernaise. You'll find it on every bottle of the very best and biggest-selling Lambrusco in Scotland. Fionda, your signature of quality.
Lace is feminine. Lace is a new perfume by Yardley. Lace is romantic. Lace is a desirable perfume by Yardley. Wear it and make every occasion special. Lace by Yardley.
I got too much energy to switch off my mind. Trying so hard to cleanse myself, I was turning into somebody else. Here comes another winter of long shadows and high. I don't know what's wrong or right. In fact, maybe with your love.
Now for Brookside, where breakfast time at the Collins finds Annabel looking to the future.
Capital cost cutters this month include 6 Capital Mousses, only 40 pence. 12 2-ounce Capital Beef Burgers, only 59 pence. And for the kids, there's free fun sheets.
You got it all at Capital for fridge and freezer foods.
Stale smells up here often come from down there, and your carpet smells from your dog and tobacco too.
Well, Shake and Vac from Glade is here. It's all you have to do. Do the shake and vac and put the freshness back. Do the shake and vac and put the freshness back. When your carpet smells fresh, your room does too. Every time you vacuum, remember what to do. Do the shake and vac and put the freshness back.
Shake and Vac in 3 fragrances.
Take a letter and set the cameras rolling. That's what Tim Brooke-Taylor will be doing today when he introduces Cartoon Alphabet. That's the first of a new series at 5:15. Meantime, the cameras are rolling again this time for the Wednesday matinee, Madam X.
May God be with you through
this night. Good night to you all.
President Mitterrand of France wins a second 7-year term. The socialist president took 54% of the vote with his conservative opponent Jacques. From this bulletin, I'll be back a little later in the morning. Look forward to seeing you.
Time now for our Hollywood movie, the bestseller My Foolish Heart.
Glasgow, there's a self-help group set up to offer support and advice to people suffering from Sjogren's syndrome. It's an autoimmune condition which appears to affect more women than men. Its main symptoms are dry eyes, dry mouth, and possibly an associated arthritis. The group, part of the British Association, aims to spread information about the disease, offers help on alleviating symptoms, and supports research. If you think they could help you, call them on 041 334 9972 or write to Sjogren's Syndrome, Box 2000.
Some people climb mountains every day without the aid of ropes. Some practice diplomacy without an audience of millions to watch. They get help to people in need without the banner of bravery. Scotland Today looks at these unsung heroes, carers, all this week at 6 on Scottish.
Back to programmes for this Tuesday evening on Scottish, and at 8 Sergeant Cryer gets more than he bargained for in tonight's episode of The Bill. And that's followed at 8:30 by Men Behaving Badly. And Boone will be with us at 9. But now it's time to visit St James's Hospital in Leeds. Jimmy's.
You're watching Scottish television on the ITV network, and it's now time to join Tarrant on TV. You're watching Scottish television on the ITV network, and it's now time to join Tarrant on TV.
Mom.
Arrangements have been made by Odessa to destroy all your personal records so that you may take new identities abroad.
Dan is a bloody little sneak. He doesn't play the game.
Larry, do calm her down.
There's 3 men fallen in the chocolate.
Just do something!
Now, don't scream, love. And they're dead. Right, I'll just... Oh, Christmas.
Summer drama on Scottish.
Alan and Deirdre Williams are from Rill. When he's not waltzing, Alan's a qualified doctor. Our next couple are both wearing black hats and black shades.
1, 2, 3, 4!
Don't drop your kegs, will it?
Very funny.
We take the high road on Monday, and Morag has a hunch about Mary's fence.
You know, I think I know who's behind all this. It would be just like him. Who?
We should see a doctor. I mean, Mrs. Gillespie, she nearly died. She was nearly 93. You told me so. Yeah, I know she was old. All right. I will see the doctor if it makes you feel any better.
No, Greg is up to something. Whatever he's up to, he's not letting me in on.
Take the high road, Monday, 6:30 on Scottish.
Looking ahead to 2:40, our Saturday matinee stars Sidney James and Diana Copeland in Bless This House. Right now, here come the double-deckers.
Live behind-the-scenes reports from Gatwick in Airport 90, this weekend on ITV.
After the football, it's time for some different...
And finally, the weather forecast. It'll be a blustery and unsettled day with sunny periods mixed with frequent showers. The showers will merge into longer spells of rain from the west. Temperatures should reach 18 degrees Celsius, that's 64 Fahrenheit. That's it for now. I'm back at 5 to 12.
Probably happy to be on holiday from school just now, but have you heard your parents say that you're getting under their feet?
Every Tuesday at 6:30, join Diana Rigg as she explores those properties in Scotland which are held in trust. This summer on Scottish.
Monday evening on Scottish and Coronation Streets at 7:30.
What do you mean by it? Look, Mr. Roberts, I am not having a public argument with you. You'll have a public punch-up if you're not careful. You bring your flipping fancy bus down my street, poaching my customers.
The thing about prunes for breakfast is you know you're going to have an interesting day.
Home James is at 8, and at 9 the curtain rises on a 3-part dramatic portrayal. Laurence Olivier and Vivian Lee were darlings of the gods.
Why do you do it, Vivian?
And with Prisoner Cell Block H at 11:35, that's some of your Monday evening viewing on Scottish.
the other. Only Nicam Stereo can do this.
Friday at 8, a survival special. The grizzly bear has had a bad press, but is its fearsome reputation justified? Some say it only gets mad and bad when under threat from man. Find out in Grizzly Country. Survival, Friday at 8 on Scottish.
So calm your fear. Jesus said, "Take heart, I am here. Don't be afraid."
Hi, I'm Bobby Hain from Clyde One FM, and this year Clyde One is supporting Telethon 92, but we need your help too, whether it's with your pub or club or school or college, or even just on your own. Do something that's great fun and raises money for people who really need it. Support Telethon 92.
If you would like to get involved in raising funds for Telethon 92, write to us at Telethon 92, PO Box 4000, Glasgow G12 9JQ. Or phone us now on 041 334 1357.
Take the high road on Friday and never work with animals or Mrs. Mac.
I mean, you've got more to worry about.
Me? What do you mean?
You know what to say about working with animals?
That's no way to refer to Mrs. Mac.
Whoever's in there, open up at once. I will not have hooting in my village hall.
I don't know you're tall, dear.
What more do you need to know?
Well, for starters, you can tell me when you traded in your old banger for a Rolls Royce.
Take the high road Friday 6:30 on Scottish.
Dylan, you've been drinking.
Bram, when I come to school drunk, you smell like a brewery, pal. I better get you out of here.
But Brandon made sure he didn't drive.
Well, maybe he should have made sure he didn't drink.
Where do you get off criticizing Brandon? You know, he has been there for Dylan whenever Dylan needed him, which is a lot more than I can say for you.
Brenda.
Sorry, Mom, it is true.
We've all been there for him. But there's only so much any of us can do.
You're abandoning him.
Until Dylan shows he can get a grip on his life, I don't want you seeing him.
Alcohol Problems in Beverly Hills, Saturday 5:15 on Scottish.
Did Reg, Mr. Holdsworth, did he know about Miles Platting?
I was wondering when that would occur to you. The answer, of course.
At 8, the final part of the Achille Lauro affair.
I just can't. Let us stay together.
I want you to tell me what you've done with my husband.
And with Terry Butcher and Frank Dick joining Archie McPherson for Sport in Question at 10:45, that's Monday evening on Scottish.
The film Whiskey Galore humorously documented the fate of the SS politician, which left Liverpool 50 years ago bound for Kingston, Jamaica. To mark this anniversary, Morag Stewart presents a two-part Gaelic documentary on Politician. Along with the 22,000 cases of whiskey were 8 cases of Jamaican currency, whose secrets the sea retains. Discover the real story behind a Scottish legend in Politician, Wednesday 6:30 on Scottish.
Back to our programmes for Monday evening here on Scottish. For now, for the first time this week, we drop into Weatherfield to find that it's celebration time for Bet and Alec Gilroy, but the limelight is taken away from them as Martin makes an announcement as we make our way down Coronation Street.
The world of rugby comes home. the biggest sporting event in Britain for over a quarter of a century, only on ITV.
Hi, with me tonight on Sport in Question, Terry Butcher, former captain of Rangers in England, our manager of Coventry City, Frank Dick, National Director of Coaching for UK Athletics, Scotland's rugby star Gavin Hastings, and Hugh McEldaney of the Observer newspaper. Among the subjects under discussion, Liam Brady's problems at Celtic, Britain's showing of the World Athletic Championship, and the SIU being mean to Romania. A lively panel, a great audience. So do join me after News at 10.
Serving Central Scotland, this is Scottish Television. But now it's time to join Julia Somerville and Fiona Armstrong at ITN for Monday's national and international news at 10. In an hour, it's Prisoner Cell Block H, but right now, here on Scottish, it's time once again to join Archie McPherson, his guests and studio audience, who are gathered together tonight to put sport in question. Programmes for Monday night here on Scottish. Looking ahead to 20 minutes to 1, our late film is Fragment of Fear. Now, though, we join the ladies of the Wentworth Detention Centre for Prisoner Cell Block H.
All right, fella, let go of her.
Scottish Books is back, and this week we devote the whole programme to the People's Prize, for which you, the public, choose the winner. There are 6 books shortlisted, and 4 of Scottish Books' regular reviewers, Donald Dewar, Pat Heppel, Robin Marsack and John Brown, will be giving their views. So if you want some help in how to make up your mind on a winner, join us.
Hello there, nice to have you with us. Welcome along to Monday's programmes through the night here on Scottish. Looking at the night ahead, in a couple of minutes, our late film, a psychological thriller made in 1971 called Fragment of Fear. That takes us round to 2:30 and cinema attractions. At 3, we count down America's Top 10. And following that, we have a music special featuring Jethro Tull at 3:30. And then at 4:30, we journey down the historic Silk Road. That's the night ahead here on Scottish. First, though, an update of tonight's national and international news. For the details, we now join Anne Lucas at ITN.
Tonight's reporting Scotland, a senior naval officer tells of confusion on board his submarine as the Antares fishing boat went down. There's praise for the Prime Minister from fishermen's leaders who welcome his open-minded approach to their problems. And also in the programme, the big cat that could soon be roaming the Irish Sea. Join us for Reporting Scotland, half an hour.
A senior naval officer says more openness in communications between Clyde trawlers and submarines would be invaluable.
The Orkney inquiry hears that a local doctor believed children were pressured into giving statements to social workers.
Praise for the Prime Minister as fishermen's leaders welcome his open-minded approach to their problems.
Hello, good evening. And also in tonight's programme, enjoying the freedom of the
mountains turns to horror when an avalanche hits.
1 man buried in an avalanche on 550 Bridge.
We've got no details about how far the avalanche actually went.
Rescue 137 scrambles along with the Mountain Rescue Services and their search dog teams. Thursday at 7:30 on Scottish. And now on Scottish, in the first programme of a new series, we join the staff and patients of St James's Hospital in Leeds, or as it's better known, Jimmy's.
Jenny move into Dunes retirement village, but Dick has to fight his emotions about growing old in Coming of Age.
The Western Isles Council's BCCI investigating committee has suspended 2 chief officers over the bank scandal. Chief Executive Dr. George MacLeod and Director of Finance Donald G. MacLeod left their offices this afternoon. There's a full report at 6. Also tonight, film star Sean Connery talks exclusively about his nationalist views. That's at 6. Western Isles suspend 2 officials over BCCI scandal. Angry scenes as workers invade Glasgow city chambers. And Sean Connery tells us about his nationalist views.
Returning now to the Orkney story that we were talking about earlier in the programme, we go now over there. From the council spokesman Donald Martin. An angry mob confronted social workers after the first public hearing into the Orkney child abuse allegations held in March. Social worker Michelle Miller told Lord Clyde's judicial inquiry in Kirkwall that she and her colleagues had to be given a police escort from the hearing. It's also been revealed the mother of one of the 9 children taken into care was afraid her teenage son would contract AIDS when he was on the mainland. From Orkney, Alan Fisher reports. More controversy in the Western Isles as the Council's 2 top executives are suspended.
A submarine commander admits he could have been responsible for the sinking of the Antares.
And Sean Connery becomes a special agent in the SNP's election campaign.
Hello, good evening. And tonight, with the start of Scotland's match against...
Forecast, it'll be a dry night with some patchy cloud in places. The temperature will fall quickly to around 4 degrees Celsius, 39 Fahrenheit. Some sheltered glens will see a touch of ground frost. A dry and bright start for most places tomorrow, but cloud will increase during the afternoon. Highest temperatures will reach about 16 or 17 degrees Celsius. That's a low to mid-60s Fahrenheit. Winds freshening from the south or southeast. Most places will have a dry, bright morning with sunny spells, with the best of the sunshine in eastern areas. Highest temperatures will reach around 18 degrees Celsius, 64 Fahrenheit, with a freshening south to southeasterly wind.
And that look at the weather ends this midweek edition of the programme. I'll be back with the late news update at 9:25.
And we'll both be back at the usual time of 6:30 tomorrow. I hope you can join us then. Until then, a very good night.
Good night.
Us through to Des O'Connor tonight at 8. Steve is running out of luck, while Curly's life takes a turn for the better.
Over here, big...
Oh, yes, it is.
The Euro for Curly Watts in Coronation Street. Now, the films, the fashion and the music of 95 in Entertainment Now.
Sport now, and here with details of a new signing for Rangers and a new signing for BBC Scotland is Mark Suster.
Thank you very much indeed. Good evening. Rangers finally got their man today when the Dutch international Peter van Vossen flew into Glasgow. Van Vossen has signed in a straight swap deal, which sees the Russian forward Oleg Salenko moving in the opposite direction.
That takes us to another look at the main points of tonight's news, and Marion Jack's here to interpret for the deaf. One of Scotland's top skiers, Kirstine McGibbon, has died after crashing at speed while on a training run at an Austrian resort. Her father said skiing had been her life. The family of a mentally handicapped boy at the centre of abuse allegations at a Christian charity home in East Lothian are demanding a full investigation into the running of the all-grade trust home. The skipper of a fishing boat has been killed after a massive explosion engulfed his vessel in flames. 5 crewmen were airlifted to safety. Thousands of mourners gathered at Dunfermline Athletics football ground to pay their last respects to club skipper Norrie McCarthy, who died last week. And Scottish Enterprise has announced details of a £30 million budget cut but they promise key targets and projects will be met. Those are the headlines.
And finally tonight, some